and low. Allen Pass. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock and load. Come on. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock and load. Come on. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock and load. It's the Allen Pass Show. Yeah. Where we lock and load. Come on. Yeah.
What's up, my people? Y'all know what day it is. This is Tuesday. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Allen Powell Show. Got a locked and loaded show for you today. We're going to be talking about the Hall of Fame class, the 2021 NFL Hall of Fame class. And we're going to look forward to 2022, the people that's eligible. And I want to talk about a special person, a special player that I think got a great chance to get in. And I want to see if y'all agree. Also, Errol Spence had to drop out of the Manny Pacquiao fight because of injury to the eye. I know a lot of people was looking forward to that fight, and now it's not going to happen. Pacquiao has to fight someone else, so a lot of people that's disappointed with that, but we're going to talk about that. And we have a special guest interview with the author, Jenae Mckinight, around the 8:20-ish, 8:30 mark. She's got a great book out right now, and she's going to be sharing with y'all some parenting tips and telling us some great things about that book that she got. So I look forward to that. So all the parents, y'all make sure y'all tune in because you don't want to miss that part. But first, we're going to jump it off with Dennis Schroder. The point guard formerly of the Lakers signs a one-year deal with the Boston Celtics for 1 year, $5.9 million. Now, if you know the story about with Dennis Schroder, he had the opportunity to make $84 million, 4 years, $84 million with the Lakers, but he betted on himself, thought because they throwing around money in the NBA, he thought he wanted to make $100 million. So he thought that by saying no to the $84 million, he can squeeze out and make $100 million. Well, the market then dried up, and he looked up, and the Celtics the only offer that he had was a 1 year, $5.9 million deal. Now, that's still a lot of money to us, but in the NBA world where they giving away millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, that is a screw up. It's a little screw up. I know he's kicking himself, and he's not. Hopefully he plays well where he can come back to the market next year and get the money that he thought he was gonna make. But that was a major screw up, and I know he's kicking himself right now. So Dennis Schroder, sorry that happened to you, brother. Got to be more careful. Sometimes you got to take the money while it's there. You can't wait and think that you're going to get more than what you think you're worth, or because you think it's hot right now that you can get that money. But the Celtics got them a decent point guard because they lost Kemba Walker. So if y'all basketball fans out there, y'all tell me how y'all feel about the Dennis Schroder move to the Celtics. How does he fit? Is it a good fit, bad fit? And have you ever messed up on any type of money deal like that, where you could have made so much more money, and then you looked up and all you had was a little deal on the table, and you had to take what you can get because that's all that was left? But that's some NBA news that's going on. Other news going on. Errol Spence Jr. had to withdraw from his fight with Manny Pacquiao. It was a big event, big fight that supposed to happen, a pay-per-view fight, and Errol Spence went to the doctor, got a physical, and they found a torn retina in his left eye. So he had to withdraw from that fight, and now Pacquiao is going to fight another fighter, not as big of a name as Errol Spence. I seen my guy CJ James tuning in. If he's my boxing analyst. If you're watching right now, man, give me your thoughts on the Errol Spence Pacquiao, because I seen a couple of people saying that, man, these fighters nowadays can't take nothing. Pacquiao fought Mayweather with a torn rotator cuff. You know, so a lot of people are mad that he withdrew from the fight. But if he got a torn retina, like that don't sound like nothing simple. It sounds like a big deal. It sounds like a big deal, and he had to withdraw. Some people might think, you know, it's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there. Some people think, oh, he's doing this so they can make even more money. If Pacquiao win this fight against this other guy, he come back to the table, maybe they can sell even more tickets, make even more money. So it's a lot of things going on with this, but everybody was looking forward to the fight. I was looking forward to it myself, but it's not going to happen at this point in time. But Errol Spence, Pacquiao is a big fight. And if Pacquiao can win this fight, he's in his 40s. He's older, long in the tooth, whatever you want to call it. As far as boxing goes, he's kind of old, but he's not fighting a big name like Errol Spence anymore. It's his name, the guy he's fighting is like Ugas. I'm gonna just jack his name up. I'm gonna look it up before I try to jack it up. But it starts with a U. He does has a belt, so that makes the fight even more interesting as well. The name is Yordenis Ugas. He's from Cuba. But he has a belt. So if he wins that fight, Pacquiao would even have another belt. So I think he would have two belts. Errol Spence has two belts. So it makes the fight even bigger. But for all the boxing fans who was looking forward to the fight, what is your theory on what happened? Did he just have did he have a messed up physical? Did he just had a torn retina he had to pull out? Or is it any politics? Is it conspiracy going on? What's going on with Errol Spence? Are they trying to pull the wool over our heads and pull some stuff out to make more money out the deal? Is he soft? Some people say, hey, Pacquiao fought with a torn rotator cuff. They want Errol Spence to fight with a torn retina. I guess that's what they're saying. Fight with a torn retina. That don't sound like something you can fight with. But boxing fans are saying they want him to do it. So I don't know how you fight with a torn retina. I only heard of one story of with somebody with a torn retina, and that didn't sound well. He said that his team or his doctor saying you can't fight in this condition. Now, some people, we're not doctors, but the boxing fans are acting like doctors right now. They saying, hey man, you should have fought. You should fight. But hey, I don't know. So y'all tell me, man. I know it's a lot of boxing fans. They only come. The boxing is a sport where they come around every few months. You don't get it every day like baseball. You don't give it every other day like basketball, or every week like football. You have to wait a couple of months for these big fights. And when something happens like this and it has to get pushed back for whatever reason, it's a disappointment. I'm a little disappointed because I was gonna watch it. I possibly would have bought it, and I don't buy a lot of fights, but I possibly would have bought that fight because I wanted to see how Pacquiao would do against Spence. Spence is undefeated. Pacquiao is a legend. It was gonna be a good fight. So yeah, y'all tell me y'all thoughts on that. Other news. We had the Hall of Fame class inducted this past weekend. Peyton Manning got in. Calvin Johnson got in. A few names of my era got in that I knew, that I watched their whole career. But it was one, and you know, when it comes to Hall of Fame, we listen to the speeches and we analyze the speeches. But it was one speech in particular that I was very that I liked a lot. And I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play his speech, a little bit of his speech, and I think it can inspire a lot of people. So let's watch this. A little bit of Edgerrin James. If you didn't see the speech, I'm just gonna play it for you real quick. And here you go.
Terrell Smith, Leonard Pope, Reggie Wells, and so many other talented players. Throughout my career, I took pride in representing my culture, my people, and keeping it real. And I did it all while doing my job. In the real world, we need to think about these things and protect the people we're supposed to protect. Now, as a running back, I had to block and protect the quarterback. Just imagine if I don't protect him from the pass rush. In society, we have witnessed a lot of people turning the other cheek. Since we're in the football world, imagine if I turn the other cheek and don't protect my quarterback. I played with 2 Hall of Famers, and I played against my brothers, people I went to school with. What if I intentionally miss my blocking assignment and one of my boys does damage to my QB? What happens to my team if I don't do my job and protect him? Now think about what happens to our culture and to our families when we don't get the protection we're supposed to. It tears us down. It kills our confidence. It divides us. Do your job. That's what I did. I put my body on the line and I protected my quarterback. We have a lot of things going on in this country. It's only right that we keep the light shining on these issues. Just do your job. If everybody did their job, the world would be a better place. For some reason, I always had to deal with perception. Perception, though, isn't always reality. It definitely wasn't my reality. People looked at my gold teeth and dreads and were shocked and surprised I had never been under arrest or spent time in jail. So many people told me that you can't have dreads and gold teeth and be accepted in the NFL, but I never listened. I always knew who I was, a great football player, a great father, a proud black man, a lion, and this was my main. With many of those dollars were later discovered once they got to know the real me. Times have changed. Look around the league. Look at some of the young stars. As a matter of fact, look at my Pro Football Hall of Fame bust. Rocking the same dreads they said I shouldn't. My closing message proudly represent the real you. Follow your dreams, aim high, and create the life you want to live. And to all those who have been judged prematurely because of their appearance, the way they speak, where they come from, and in the minds of many should be locked up in prison, I represent us. I'm forever immortalized, locked up in the Canton Correctional Institution. Inmate number 336 in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. My career started with gold teeth and ended with this gold jacket. Good night and God bless.
All right, so as y'all see, Edgerrin James with his speech, it was a lot of things that he talked about, and I want to break down his speech, and I think it kind of goes well with the guests that we're going to have on as well. When he talked about do your job, and I see everybody checking in. Delma Suma, evening, thank you for tuning in. YouTube subscriber Atari, thank you for tuning in, and Tierra Williams, unapologetically black. I think I said that right. Struggle word for me. Anyway, a few things that he said that stuck out to me. He talked about do your job. He was talking about himself doing his job on the field, and he was comparing it to everybody doing their job in the world. When that comes to police officers, that comes to parents, everybody. If everybody do their job, he's saying the world would be a better place. So if the parents at home do their job with parenting, and we're going to talk about that a little later with my guests, if they do their job and police do their job, which they were sworn to do, how much difference could be made in the world? And I think it was a great speech when he's just talking about everybody do their job. We can't tell one person how to do their job, and the other person can't tell us how to do our job. But if everybody do their job and not stop focusing on the other part, I think everything would be better. And so I think his speech was great. He also talked about his appearance. And we know that a lot of times people get prejudged for their appearance or the way they talk. And if you know anything about Edgerrin James, he came out of the University of Miami. And I don't think he would be categorized as speaking the best, you know. But he, like he said, he never been locked up or anything like that. He was a model citizen. He had dreads. He had gold teeth. But he still did his job. And like he said, he went from gold teeth to this gold jacket, that Hall of Fame jacket that he got on. So for anybody who dresses a certain way or has a certain style and feel like they get prejudged, and he had locks as well, and you got locks, or if you think people look at you a certain way, don't let none of that stop you, man, because he did everything they told him not to do. They don't want gold teeth, locks, you know, all baggy clothes, whatever the case may be. Allen Iverson was another one. He changed the culture. Tattoos, baggy clothes, you know, all those type of things. Even when people prejudge you, that don't have to be the end of it. So I just loved his speech. I love what he represented. I love what he said about everybody doing their job. And I like what he was talking about as far as gold teeth to a gold jacket. You know, you can do whatever you want to do, no matter what your appearance is. Now, let's not be a fool and say appearance doesn't matter, you know, because if you go on the jobs, you want to be, you know, you want to present yourself well. But if you're playing sports and you got talent and you still want to be yourself, I would say be yourself and perform that duty, perform that sport to the best of your ability, and you can still do plenty of things. If you own your own business, you can do, you know, a lot more as well, depending on what business it is. But the bottom line is, no matter what people might say about you, keep going and do your job. So Edgerrin James, kudos to you, man. Great speech. And just a great speech. More another thing about the Hall of Fame. So like I said, we had a few people, Calvin Johnson, Peyton Manning get in, but they start looking forward to class of 22. And I'm gonna put up the class of 2022. These are a few of the names. If you can see it, Tony Romo, I don't think he's gonna make it. He's a great sportscaster though. Andre Johnson for the Houston Texans, he put up big numbers. DeMarcus Ware was a great defensive end. Steve Smith was a great wide receiver, right? So I think those three got a chance of getting in. But it's one more person that's not on this screen that a lot of people know that I want to talk about because he's from my favorite team and one of the most exciting players I've ever seen in my life. And it's this guy right here, Mr. Devin Hester. If you ever watch the Bears game, you know, as a kick returner, punt returner, this dude was one of the most electrifying players on the field. Tell you a quick story about me and my wife when we in our dating stages. So around this time, we got married in 2007. The Bears made a Super Bowl. I think it was either 2007 or 2006. I forget which year. Anyway, I was working midnights at Walmart. Shout out to Walmart, my old job. And I was working midnights. I told her, hey, it's the Super Bowl. Wake me up at the kickoff. Wake me up at kickoff. I can't miss the Super Bowl. So I go to sleep. And I didn't get woke up. I missed the opening kickoff. And anybody who remember that Super Bowl know the beginning kickoff, what did Devin has to do? He returned it for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And I missed it because my wife did not wake me up. And I hope she's watching. She definitely remember. She did not wake me up for one of the most exciting plays in Super Bowl history. Devin Hester returning the touchdown. I missed it. And I was heated. As you see, she's got the emoji on the comments right now. She knows she jacked up. She messed up. She had one job. Well, ain't that a saying? You got one job. I asked her to wake me up for the opening kickoff because I had it's possible for this brother to take one to the crib. And that's exactly what he did. She said, I was asleep. I know I was asleep, but your job was to wake me up. You got one job, and she didn't do the job. Anyway, back to the conversation of Devin Hester in the Hall of Fame class. So when it comes to the Hall of Fame, it's very hard for special teamers to get in the Hall of Fame. Special teamers, for people who don't know watching football, punters, kickers, kick returners, punt returners. I think it's only like one special teamer is a punter named, I think Ray Guy. I think he got in not too long ago. But it's hard for special teamers to get in. But Devin Hester has the record for return touchdowns, punt returns, kick returns. He returned a field goal back for a touchdown. And so I'm very curious if he will get in. If anybody knows Devin Hester, y'all comment. Do y'all think he will get in? He's not a skilled position. He's not the quarterback. The quarterback is the most important position, the position everybody knows, the position everybody focuses on. But Devin Hester changed the rules. I mean, they changed the rules because of him. He had people kicking the ball out of bounds because they were scared of him. That's how good he was. T.A. Williams says, this one I knew the Bears was trash. They traded him. Well, he wasn't the same when he got older. You know, football, once you get older, football is NFL stands for not for long. Because if you got an injury or they feel like you're old, they'll ship you out. But while he was playing with the Bears, he did damage. And so my question to the public is, do you think he will get in? Because not many special teamers get in the Hall of Fame. And he's going to be eligible next year for the Hall of Fame. And it would be great if that Bear got in. So y'all can still comment, man, but we're going to move on. I want to get to the special guest that we have today. This lady right here, I feel like I've known her for some years, but what I marvel about her the most, and I think my wife can agree, it was like she got two daughters that I know she's extremely proud of. But if you was to model any daughters after anybody, you can choose these two. I mean, I think one's in college, one's getting ready to go to college, and we work with them. We work with them back in youth church, and they were just like model citizens. You know what I'm saying? So we had, and I'll tell you, we had some knuckleheads. We definitely had some knuckleheads, but they was never in trouble. None of that. I mean, they were just like angels. They were like angels. So me and my wife always said, listen, when we do have kids, we're going to be tapping her shoulder to get some tips, because I felt like she did a great job. Her and my guy, Frank McKnight, he's great as well. I know it was a team effort, but man, she did her thing. So without further ado, let me bring in, I'm going to call her the parenting guru. I know she might, I don't know if she want to call herself that, but for my show, I'm going to call her the parenting guru. Miss Jenae Mckinight, thank you for joining the show. Did I get it right with you and the kids and all of that good stuff?
Yes, thank you so much for your gracious compliments about everything. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope they watch it too, man. But I would say this: I did learn something though. So I always thought you, Miss McKnight. I always thought of you. I always thought you was like, man, she just seemed like she just nice all the time. You know, ain't never, probably never whooped the kids or anything. I don't know, but I was with you over some friend's house before, and I don't know if we was just having a conversation or something, but I was like, oh, she ain't no joke. So she got a perfect balance of being a no joke parent, but also got the super nice side. Is that like an accurate, like, what would you call how you are as a parent?
I would say balanced. I'm more balanced now than I probably was a long time ago, and which kind of led me to write this book. Total reflection on my parenting from when the girls were little, even to now that they're young women. So yeah, I will say that it's balanced, and I'm more balanced now.
Right. So once you said something about the book. She has a book that's out, Creating New Paths in Parenting. I thought the title was very interesting. But before I get into my questions, just tell us a little bit about the book without giving too much away, so the people still have to buy it. But just tell us a little bit. You'll maybe give a little teaser or something. I don't know. What do you want people to know about this book, or why they should buy it?
Okay. Well, you know what? I want people to know that this is really a self-help reflective book about parenting the 21st century child. As we all know, children today are very, very different than probably even back when you were young, Al, because I can go way back with me when I was young. Mm-hmm. But, definitely it is a book for, and the reason why I can speak on this is because I still work in the education system with children. So I've seen so many different parenting styles in working with children in the school system, as well as my own parenting of my own daughters. I would just say that as far as like for the book, without giving away a whole lot, it really is a reflective book for current parents, those who want to be parents, those who are brand new parents, because you have the opportunity, especially as a brand new parent, you have the opportunity to shape your children how you feel that they should be, especially, and I'll talk later about those of you that are raising kingdom kids. You have the opportunity now where there's, you don't have to do things the way that it happened when you were growing up. You take the good and you keep that instilled in your children as you raise them. And then the bad, what you said, I wish, I didn't really like that or care for that when my parents did that, or this damaged me. You don't have to do that. You can do it differently. You can create a whole new path in parenting of your own children. And so that's why the title came up, Creating New Paths. Because, of course, yes, you want to raise your child according to the word of God. I believe that's your basic principles that you're going to raise them by. But it's so different because even though parents back in the day used to raise you by the word of God, sometimes it was some stuff that wasn't God. Let's just say that.
And I want to get into, I want some, I got a few notes. I want a few stories and things of that nature, but I want to go back because I forgot to ask you my sports question. This is a sports show. So before we get into the, all the details of the book and maybe some stories you could tell us about Melo and Destiny or anything like that, or if they got a whooping before, I definitely want to hear these stories. But before we get into that, what is your favorite sport? What is Miss Jenae Mckinight's favorite sport to watch?
Oh, my favorite sport would probably be basketball because I understand it better than the other sports. And my nephew played basketball, so I was at a lot of games, so I kind of got a chance to ask a lot of questions and understand it better. So yeah, I would say basketball.
Did you play any sports in school coming up?
I tried baseball.
Really?
Yeah, I tried softball. I was on a softball team for probably about one summer. I lasted one summer because I think, I don't know, maybe I was just that person, like I couldn't stand the heat.
Okay.
I was in the outfield. Man, it was just, oh man,
Burn you up.
On them hot days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was before they told us to wear sunscreen. So yeah. Yes.
Okay, so Miss McKnight played softball in the outfield. Did you get any hits or how did that go? How was your batting? Did you like batting?
I might have hit a few ground balls, almost made it to first, maybe made it to first a couple of times. But yeah. I mean, it was total beginners, but it was fun. It was a good activity to do in the summertime. Yeah.
Okay, did not know that about you. And I feel like I'd have known you for some years and I never knew that you played softball. That's something new. And I love it. My wife put up LeBron lover or hater, but not yet. We're not getting to that yet. So your favorite sport is basketball. Do you have a favorite team?
Okay, back in the day, of course, it was the Bulls.
Okay.
Recently, I kind of started liking the Golden State
Golden State
Warriors?
Warriors. Yeah.
Started liking them. The Lakers when Kobe was there, when Kobe was there, when Magic was there,
Okay.
the Lakers. I'm like an old school basketball fan, like Dr. J, all the way back then. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. So, and then my last sports question. My wife put up LeBron lover or hater. I like to say it Jordan or LeBron. If you I usually ask this to a lot of my guests.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got a gauge of where you're going, but just for the people, tell the people Jordan or LeBron.
Of course, Jordan. Let me tell you why.
Yes.
The reason why, of course, he's just the GOAT, GOAT of basketball, in my opinion. But the thing is because his character, even though I saw the show, what was the name of that show where they showed all the basketball? Yeah, and I know he wasn't perfect, but when he came on camera and they interviewed him, I just loved his character. I was like, yeah, I was proud. You know what I mean? I was proud to be Black. I was proud of, what he had accomplished and all of that. And it was just, LeBron didn't give me that. He didn't give me that when he went. I mean, now playing skills, he's good, but it wasn't always, it was just kind of, I don't want to say dirty basketball, but I feel like he didn't always play fair, it seemed like it. I don't know. He didn't rub me that way. I think Jordan for sure over him.
That's interesting because a lot of people, when they bring up LeBron, they always mention about all the stuff he's doing off the court. He started the school and, the college, the scholarships that he give away. I would, like to me, he's a model citizen off the court. But yeah. Do you think you said that Jordan's the way he interviewed, is that part of what you're talking about? Like, you don't like the way LeBron interviews?
You know what? He's grown. Let me give him space. He has grown. All of us grow into things, but like initially when I first used to watch him and listen to him, I was turned off. I was like, oh, he kind of harsh, not as bad as like a Dennis Rodman, but he was just, kind of like that. But I think with him starting the school, with him having children, I believe as he's matured as a person, he has matured also in his interview. So I'll give him props for that. But it's like Jordan, he was good all the way from the beginning. So that's why, I had to stick with Jordan.
That sounds great to me. Music to my ears. The rest of this show is going to be great just because you said Jordan, but no, I want to get back to, let's get back to your book.
Okay.
The book, Creating New Paths in Parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us how was you being brought up, like your parents' parenting style? What was their style like?
So I think my parents' parenting style was a combination of, I talk about the different styles of parenting. It was a combination of authoritarian versus authoritative. So basically authoritarian is kind of like, where you do what I say do, you the child, you do what I say do, don't ask me no questions, that kind of parenting. The authoritative, on the other hand, as I grew older in my relationship, particularly with my mom, she did start to listen to me more. In the authoritative parenting style, you kind of take into consideration your child. Now, again, there are certain situations where as a parent, you are supposed to be the adult and help them and guide them. And I felt like my mom did that, but she also listened to me as I got older. Now, when we were younger, it was kind of like, go to bed, do them dishes, So
right.
Yeah. So I would just say that's, that was their parenting style. But I want to say that they were balanced, because my dad taught me he taught me work ethic, and he taught me how to, be a hard worker, continue, go to work, do what you're supposed to do, be the best at what you are, doing. My mom taught me the spiritual side, because my mother was a prayer warrior. So she was the one that balanced it all out. She helped me to have hope and to have faith at a very young age. So she took me to church. Like, I wasn't out in the car when she was in church.
Right.
In the church.
Right.
And so that was, I can never thank her enough for that, because it has meant so much to me as an adult.
Okay, once again, we got Miss Jenae Mckinight. She got a new book, Creating New Paths in Parenting. You talked about early in your parenting that you was a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that's part of the reason why you wanted to write this book. How was you different in your earlier years?
So she already knows, and she's on here. My youngest was my greatest inspiration for this book. And I'll tell you, because a lot of times as parents, we tend to try to raise all of our kids the same way. And that was me. I was trying to raise both of my daughters the same exact way. And my youngest was like, it ain't gonna work. She was so different. And in a good way. And the thing is she used to feel kind of bad when people would say she was different, but I was like, no, I'm trying to help her, I was trying to help her understand, no, in a good way, because really, she helped revolutionize the way that I parented. Mm-hmm. It's like you always have that child that's just, that's obedient, that does what you want, and everything, rule follower. That's my oldest all day long. Love her for my next one. That's when we was like, we don't need no boy. We don't need another one. This is it right here, because she came out the gate like, hey, even when we went to the ultrasound, she was like, yeah, I'm a girl, right. I mean, so it was like totally different. And I said, but the thing is that it was a good thing, because it made me step back and reflect and then learn how to love her right.
So when did it change? So, okay, you get Mello. Mello comes out totally different from Destiny. She's totally different. At what age did Mello, at what age for Mello did you say, okay, I got to do something different because it's not working the same way with Destiny?
It started probably around about that 11, 12-ish age, when it started. But then I think when it just really hit home, she was probably like in the teens. Because, when the 13, 14, that early time. Because it was like, when they get into those teens, they going through all kind of hormonal changes and all of that like that too. And so she just started, being more vocal, expressing herself more, saying things. And so, in the book, I talk about a story about, some things that she said that I was like, that made me step back. Like, now most parents would have been like, Kataya, they would have just went for it. But I stepped back and I thought about what she said. And I was like, okay, why, instead of me reacting in an authoritative type parent way, like, you don't talk to me like that. Right. I stepped back and said, in an authoritative way, I said, what would make her say that? How is she seeing me? You see what I'm saying? And when I said that, that's why I said it's a very self-reflective book.
Right.
The best way for this book to help you is to be honest with yourself and self-reflect, but don't beat yourself up about it. Grow from it and change what you're doing.
There you go.
What you're doing. Yeah. So yeah.
Marky Mark says, I'm still waiting for my obedient child. He said he hasn't got his yet. Once again, we got Jenae Mckinight. The book is called Creating New Paths in Parenting. I want to ask you about my brother, Mr. Frank McKnight. Tell me about his parenting style from the early years till now. Tell me about him and his parenting style.
So my husband is an only child. So he was best friends. He's best friends with his parents. So my husband, he was taught from a very young age to, basically to be respectful towards women. His mom started working with him and his dad started working with him at the age of 8. When I first met him, he would open and close doors and all that. And so, he still does. But the thing was, I was like, because I remember telling him, if you don't do this all the time, then, you don't have to put on no act for me. And he was like, no, my father taught me to do this ever since I was 8. He stopped opening and closing doors for my mom, and I picked up, and that was my training all my life. So I was like, wow, that was one of the things that made me really attracted to him. So, but he's always been a strong man of God in the Word of God. He brings the balance. Now, he's the playful one. He's the humorous, playful. I would come home from work, and I would come in the house. It would be tents all over the living room, all through the house. Him and the girls crawling, making a mess. And I used to get upset about it, but it got to the point I was just like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is at this point, just go ahead and join in, or, laugh and play with them. But he definitely brings the balance. So like when I'm busy and I'm all over the place and that he's like, calm down. It's not that important. Yeah, chivalry is not dead, Eugene.
and I can say the same thing about him as a person, just as a brother, a person, top-notch brother. Like, so I know like everything that you're saying, that brother is a top-notch guy. I want to, so when it came to, let's talk about your kids some more, because once again, like I know them a little bit. When you talked about how Melo was being vocal a little bit, I said, what? Like every time that I've been around Melo, even in the youth, she was quiet, shy. But I've seen some TikTok videos or some different videos where she came out of her shell like, oh, okay, Melo, okay. Even with Destiny, I think Destiny would probably be a little bit more vocal, but she was still shy as well. But I was like, okay, yeah, they be making they videos, and the personalities was coming out. I said, okay. But
what's funny is people used to, when I would tell people about things they did at home, they would be like, not Destiny, not Melody. Oh my God. They would, when they were home, they were just, I mean, it's like they was just free, but I count that as you raise your children in your home. Then you won't have to beat them down out in public. Right. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do all of that. Now, every now and then they might need a little tightening up, out there. But for the most part, at home, they were free. They would run around. They cooked. They did some of everything. They love to experiment with new stuff and, just do different things and play. And they talked. Des used to talk quite a bit, especially right before Melody came. And then she was the ultimate big sister. When Melody came, she became like her second mom, of course. Right. So, but yeah, they talked a lot at home. So people thought we were lying. They was like, no, because they don't say nothing when they come. And I was just like, they had to get to know you. As they get to know you, they would warm up and talk more. Right.
And I think being in a comfortable zone at home, they can, but I think they also talk more to my wife as well. It could be a women's thing too. And
they love Miss Tierra. They love her. Like,
she loved them too, and I know they be having their times. I want to talk about so once again, Miss Jenae Mckinight. The book is called Creating New Paths in Parenting. So I want to talk about how me and my wife is. I think she would be more like Frank. She's the more fun, and I'm the more stern. So because I've took care of my nieces and nephews for a period of time, and I was the more let's get this work done. She was the more like you say, Frank, building forts and tents and finding all types of different things to do. But I want to talk about the two different styles as far as what I got in my notes. I said white versus black, because a lot of I not all, but a lot of white parents do the timeout method, and I think a lot of black people do the whipping method. My brother got whippings like no other body's business. Have you ever had to get Destiny or Melo any whippings?
When they were growing up, probably by the time they hit about 10 or 11, around that time. I don't think we've had to since then. Then it became take away what they love. Right. Of course, electronics, TV, giving more chores, things like that. That's when it became like that. But not really, because they never did nothing that big. Most of the time it was because they didn't do something that they were told to do. That was it. Oh, look at Melody talking about I got so much. We did growing up because, okay, let me tell you, Melody don't understand. She used to take, when she was just like one, remember the floppy disk? The floppy disk that had the metal part?
Yes.
I would come home, I had created, like literally I could have had a whole teacher store. I had created all this stuff and put them on the floppy disk. Mello would just sit at them and pick the metal parts off. And I would come home to all these floppy disks totally damaged. Like literally I wanted to lose my mind because I'm thinking, do you know how much time and effort went into creating the stuff on those? So destroyed in a matter of seconds. I mean, she would do stuff like that, you know, like, I don't know. She just like to tear stuff up. And I used to just be like, Lord, where is this destructive spirit coming from? But yeah, so that's where, yeah, you did get more. You probably got a few more.
She said she got so many. Did Frank give any whippings, or that was more you?
He did. He did, you know, but more, of course, it seemed like the mama always usually end up giving more whippings, you know, especially since they were girls. A lot of times that was left up to me. Would you say, Tierra? She was inquisitive. Yes, inquisitive. That's a better word than destructive.
Eugene Russell says, I have a question for the guests. If you have a question, put it in the comments. I'll post it, and we will try to get that question answered as well. And I also want to say this. So I whip my nieces and nephews, and my wife tried it. She ended up crying. How does that happen? Like, she's so soft. She tried to whoop my niece, and she did one strike, and she cried. How does the whooper cry after giving a whipping? How does that happen?
You know what? I think a healthy balance between the two is good. Now, you know, there's Black folks that do timeout too, and I believe that, you know, what I have seen, especially, especially in families. I mean, a lot of times I have seen where African American families, we tend to follow a lot of times we tend to follow the same parenting skills of our parents, the same style. Right. So back in the day, parents would beat you till they got tired. Okay, now it would be probably called borderline child abuse. They would whip you with whatever they could find, whether it was a shoe, a skillet, a broom, whatever, you know. But the thing is that was that good in a lot of ways? Now we say now, and I'm guilty of it too. I say, well, I turned out okay, but sometimes you got to look back and be like, was I really? Because some of them whoopings, and I hope my brother's on here, I don't feel like I deserved them. I got some just because of guilty by association. So the thing is that I'll say a healthy balance. If you are constantly spanking or whipping your child and they are still doing the same thing, stop. Because then it's really like abuse. It's not working. So now you got to find another method of discipline. Because if you just keep whooping them, spanking them, and they keep doing the same thing, they're not getting the message. That's what used to happen. Parents would, you know, Johnny would sneak out the house, you beat him this time. Johnny sneak out again, you beat him next time. So then what do you have to do? Next, what you got to do is you got to lock all the doors and let Johnny sleep outside. Or let Johnny find some way. You want to keep sneaking out, stay out there. You know what I'm saying? So you have to you got to call their bluff. You have to come up with something more creative, you know, in order to discipline them. But you don't just keep doing the same discipline. Even with timeout, you keep putting them in timeout and they keep doing that same thing. Come up with a different method.
Frank McKnight says, when they scratched my car with a rock, both got it.
I remember that. I was like, ooh.
I could just imagine. It
was brand new too, and they was outside drawing on the ground, and they just thought they would take that rock and draw on that car.
Wow! How old were they? At that time?
Frank, how old were they? Had to be probably maybe 3 and 6 or 4 and 7. They, you know, because they 3 years apart, so they was it's something like that. But it was
3 or 4.
Yes.
Melody says, yes, the car was the canvas. That is too funny. Let's get to this question. Eugene Russell says, my question is, do you feel that this generation's parenting skills are more efficient than the previous generation? Great question, by the way, too. I like that question.
That's a good question. I want to say this, and that is a loaded question in a way. I can't say if they're more efficient. They're more informed. I believe back in the day, we heard the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. And so we was going to make sure that we did not spare the rod. The rod was boom, boom, boom. It was there. You was spanking them all the time. And no, don't get me wrong. It did for kids. A lot of times it did stop them from doing those things. But if you listen to adults now and they talk about that, it's interesting how that's what we remember. Do we remember the lesson learned? Did we remember having any kind of conversation with our parents afterwards? Like why it was wrong, what the repercussions could be? Because a lot of times it was no conversation, even afterwards, So the thing is, as far as efficient, can I say that? I think now kids are a little bit, parents are more informed. Kids, they have so many other options of things because kids will tell you, I'd rather take a whooping and it's over right now than for them to take my phone. Or if the phone is more important, why would I whoop you?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But some people just so in the habit of spanking and whipping their kids for everything. No, I'll pay the bill for that phone. I'm taking the phone.
Right. And
you see what I'm saying?
And that makes sense because I think a few of the times I whooped my nephew out of frustration because he was talking crazy, and I didn't appreciate the fact that he was talking to me crazy in my house. It was out of frustration instead of let me talk to him and let him know what's going on.
Right. And you know what? Since he talking crazy, here, until you learn how to talk to me right, I'm gonna keep your phone until you got to leave here. So if you could talk on this phone, you're gonna learn how to talk to me right. I mean, so it's those things because that's the unexpected. They expect the whooping. They expect they sometimes they go after you to make you angry, so you whoop them to get that attention. But you tell them, you know what, you want my attention? Here, I'm gonna take this phone, I'm gonna put it up, and we gonna talk. How about that? And when you learn how to talk to me correctly, then I'll think about giving it back to you. How about that? My students, I do that with them all the time. They be like, "Oh, how you come up with this stuff?" I'll be like, the Holy Spirit downloaded half the time. And I was like, but yeah, because I know, me giving you a suspension, you get to go home and play video games. I'm not suspending you. You're going to stay right here with me.
Man, that's smart. Eugene Russell says, out here Bernie Mac and kids. Yes, I was. But you know what? Having this conversation with her is making me think a lot. I'm changing my ways. He also talked about, he says, I didn't get a lot of whoopings. I was a thinker. One thing my stepdad did was when we get whipped, my pops would walk us through what we did wrong, why he whipped us and asked us what we did bad. Let me ask you, can that happen? Can you actually whoop a child and then still talk to them? Because I feel like they're going to be so mad about the whooping. They're not going to be able to focus. What do you think about what he said in that comment?
I think it is all about timing. Like, you remember the Eddie Murphy show when he was like, after his mama whooped him and he was like, I wish you would get ran over by a car and die. That's how kids be feeling after the whooping. Right. Because, just think about it. It was like, man, that was traumatic. But when they calm down, and then you can sit down and say, come in here. Now, I want to talk to you about what just happened, and why. Now, there's a book that I read called Shepherding a Child's Heart. And in that book, they tell you that you should have the conversation before the whipping. And then you tell them how you're going to whip them, like how many times, because see, when you whip out of anger, you be out of control. You be don't hit them with that belt 15 times. Wherein if you calm down, they calm down. And I know this don't sound like what Black folks do. And I know a lot of people are like, ooh, that ain't no Black folks stuff, but it needs to be. Right. So the thing is that I'm going to whip you. And this is how many times I'm going to spank you. Because what does that do? That helps keep you in control. You see what I'm saying? And the kid don't come out all wept up, bruised up. Because really, what is that doing?
Right.
You got out of control.
And you can definitely probably go to jail around these times.
So. Okay. Do they divorce their parents now?
Right. Once again, Jenae Mckinight. The book is called Creating New Paths in Parenting. As we're talking, she's dropping little nuggets on y'all all while we're talking already. So y'all need to go get the book. Tell them, how can they get the book?
They can get the book on Amazon, but if they want, and just look up Creating New Paths in Parenting, they can get it there. Or if they want a signed autograph copy, I have plenty of copies here, and I will ship it out to you. So you can DM me your name and your address, and I will send it out to you. You can send that. As far as for how much it costs, it is $14. So you can just, send that to me through Cash App or through PayPal.
There it is. Creating New Paths in Parenting, Jenae Mckinight. She will sign it for you. Amazon, whatever you want. You need to go get this book. She didn't help me out, and I don't even have no kids yet, but I'm going to do better than what I did with my nieces and nephews last time. I didn't do horrible. I didn't send them to the hospital, but I can do better. I can do better. I'm gonna do some time out myself. I see Lopez, Iris checking in. Thank you for checking in. My wife does time out, and she's black, so it ain't just all white or all black. But I just noticed a lot more white than black. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I was coaching 7 and 8 year olds baseball team, and all my team was black except I had one white child, and the mother was a coach on the team as well. And one time he didn't want to practice before a game. Everybody else practicing, he didn't want to practice. So I said, you know what? If you don't practice, you can't play. And she tried to get him to practice. He didn't do it. And the male figure in his life, I don't think was his dad. So he came to me and just threw his hands up like, I don't know what you want me to do. He's not the dad. So I ended up holding him out the game. Then as soon as the game about to start, he came and he said he want to play in the game. I said, no, you're not gonna play in the game. You didn't practice, you can't play. The parents came to me, you're not letting them play in the game?
For real.
And so they was gonna be okay with him playing in the game. And in that moment, like that little child, it was like he was just running them. And I was like, it was sad. And I'm like, man, like I would have gave him a little piece of my mind. You gonna practice or you're done.
Right.
But they was gonna be okay with him not practicing and everybody else practicing, and then just let him play in the game. And I was just like, wow. And even the guy who wasn't his parent, like if you the male figure, I don't know the dynamics of their relationship or if he even had authority like that. But when I just seen that, I said, man, it was just bad parenting in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Nice says great grandma believed in knockout instead of timeout. Yes.
Oh, wow. His mama quit coaching because of that?
Yes. That's another part of it. Yeah. The next game, she sent the text like, oh, I'm done. I can't deal with this. It's too much. And said that I was being racist towards him. Go figure. Crazy. So
Al, and I know this could be a whole nother show, but I wanted to just say that we have to be careful because during the pandemic, I had so many calls from parents saying they couldn't make their kid go to school. And my question to them was simple. I said, are you the one that buy the clothes in the house? Mm-hmm. You buy the food?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Are you paying the mortgage? Mm-hmm. So why is somebody living in your house, eating your food, and wearing the clothes that you buy, and talking on the cell phone that you probably paying quite a bit for them to talk on all month, and you can't make them do nothing?
Right.
I said, no. So, see, that's why I say you have to really pray and you have to really be creative with your, because basically you're just required to give them the basic needs. So, you know what I mean? So a roof over their head, that's fine. But you're not getting ready to lay up in no nice, comfy bed, comfy room. You don't want to go to school? Okay, this is how you're going to be living. Sleep on that floor. Give me that phone. You want something to eat? Or you want McDonald's? No, you're not getting McDonald's. You're going to get this right here. You're going to get mashed potatoes. So it's like you have to make it uncomfortable for them. Right. Because now the big problem is raising entitled kids who who think they are old. Like that boy thought, I don't have to do like the rest of them, but
Right.
I'm going to play in this game. And when you kept your no, they had never set those boundaries for that boy. So they're going to pay for that later on in life when he wants to do things his way and his way only. And guess what? They won't be able to set those boundaries once he gets so old. It'll be really hard. So yeah.
Eugene Russell says the law says you only responsible for them until they're 18. I tell mine that all the time.
Yes.
So look,
18.
This has been a great hearing all these stories and nuggets. Once again, Creating New Paths in Parenting is the book. Tell them one more last time, how can they get it? And I know, I'm pretty sure you got a lot of these nuggets in the book, right? And probably even more than the ones you already dropped.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I want to just say this, that you can get the book at Amazon.com. Just look up the book title, Creating New Paths in Parenting. You can also DM me if you would like to get a author's signed copy personally sent to you. And then we can arrange payment through PayPal or through Cash App. One of the things I just wanted to read, one of the quotes that I put in here is about the last chapter in the book is about self-care. And it's about learning to love yourself first so that you can actually take care of yourself. And then you can actually accurately parent your kids. So this is a quote I have in there. And it says, when parents are healed and whole, children can be healed and whole. And I'm going to leave you with that. And I want you guys to just make sure that you get the book. And then also give me a review. Let me know what you think about it. Write some comments. You know, this is going to be a series. So the next book, I want to make sure that I include and take into account your comments.
Yes. Melody McKnight says, inbox Jenae Mckinight for your book! Exclamation point. Y'all go do that. Support this powerful woman of God, dropping all these nuggets on y'all for free right now. Now go pay that money and get all the nuggets. Don't miss out. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I had plenty of fun. It was great. Enjoyed every part of it. And go get her book, y'all. Go get her book. Support her. Y'all hear everything that she's saying. Nothing but knowledge and wisdom. And thank you so much.
Thank you. And can I just say hello to all my friends out there that joined? So thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank all of y'all for joining. Everyone that commented, thank y'all for joining. Make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube. Follow, like, and review the Facebook page. Just like you said, review the book. Y'all can go to my page and review the Allen Powell Show. What you like, what you don't like. If you don't like something, let me know. I can take constructive criticism. Follow us on Instagram. I'm on TikTok now. You got different things. There's different clips of the show and different things on TikTok. I have merchandise. This is a basketball jersey. We had some basketball talk. We got shirts, jerseys. I think we got tank tops coming. Hats coming. We ship. So if you like the show, you want to support the show, message me. You can purchase your own merchandise and rock with us. If you want to advertise on the show, if you want to talk about a book like she did and you want to have an interview, message me. We can make that happen. If you know, I've had politicians, authors, different business owners. So if you have a business, you have a book, you got an event coming up, you want to promote it, message me, and we can make that happen on an upcoming date. So with all that being said, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, Miss McKnight, for joining us. We will see y'all next Tuesday. We are out.
We lock and load, Allen Powell. It's the Allen Powell Show.